usually they would either scourge you and release you, or else if it was capital punishment, they would take you out and crucify you. We only know one person in history that was both scourged and crucified. The scourging, they used the Roman flagrum, which is a whip which contained tiny barbells at the end of it, made out of either metal or bone, and it was used to tear the flesh out. They had also said that if you wanted to equate what it would feel like, each lashing would be like a shotgun blast into your back. It's that intense, that powerful, and that painful. If the striker did not draw blood, that lash did not count. There's 120 lacerations from the top of his shoulder down to the bottom of his feet. There's also bruise marks here and here across the top of his shoulder from where he had carried the cross. There's not that much of a bruise there because he was so weak from the lacerations and from the scourging that he wasn't able to carry it for very long, and they feared he would die before he got there, just like Scripture tells us. At the back of his head and on the forehead, you see lacerations which are also relating the idea of him having a crown of thorns. Again, for someone that was crucified at the time of Jesus, that was not part of the procedure for crucifixion. The only person we know of in history that was made a crown of thorns was Jesus. We know that from the Gospels. Another point of fact is down the middle of his shoulders along his back is a ponytail. The ponytail is very significant because the only men in the time of Jesus that wore a ponytail were men from Galilee. So we know that the man that was crucified was a Galilean. As we come down to the front of the body, you'll see that there's the piercing in the side, which is again in accordance with Scripture, which tells us that when they came to him at the end, he was already dead. So they pierced his side and immediately there came forth blood and water. And that tells us that he had been dead for a while, because the blood had already begun to separate. His hands are crossed across his body. The blood flow runs down his arms, consistent with being crucified. His legs are not broken, and then there's the piercing in his feet. Part of the Jewish burial rites is the fact that even today, if someone died a violent, bloody death, if there was a Jewish person who had died in a car accident, they would bury them in their clothes, bloody and all, because the blood was seen as a life source for that person.